welcome to our special program, Campus Debate. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy and its tenets such as truth, non-violence and Sarvodaya are being increasingly challenged in today's globalized world, wherein the focus is more on consumerism and achievement of personal gains. But interestingly, in today's times, the relevance of these particular tenets is felt more than it was at that point in time when these ideas were propagated by Mahatma Gandhi. We are today in Indira Gandhi National Open University in New Delhi, and we have with us a group of students from the School of Social Sciences. We will try and find out as to whether the Gandhian philosophy is only limited to superficial attraction or superficial endowment rather in today's world. Let's begin by getting general views. How many of you are of the viewpoint that the Gandhian principles are not relevant in today's world? If not all of them, at least most of them. Does anyone think so? Negative. An emphatic positive response. Okay, fine. So, at least all of us agree on one particular point in the beginning of the program itself, that these principles are relevant. All of them are relevant in today's world, and they are more so relevant in today's world than they were in 1930s or 40s when these ideas were propagated by Mahatma Gandhi. So, the next question is, are we only paying lip service to these principles or these ideas which were propagated by him, be it in any field or be it about any particular field of society or any particular section? Are we just paying lip service? Okay, let me just come one by one. Yes, please.
If we follow the Gandhian philosophy, his truth, if truth is not irrelevant in any ages, whether it was a history or whether it was a future, if you pay your attention to your work, if you are truly working, it will be pay you back. Okay. It is my thought.
She says it's not lip service. We are not paying lip service. You cannot pay lip service to truth. But there is a friend out here who I guess believes otherwise.
Yeah, most of the ideas are being just paid lip service, because you know Gandhi talked about non-violence, Gandhi talked about non-cooperation, satyagraha. But what we are watching nowadays in the country, see, Naxalism, terrorism, all sorts of violent activities are going on, and people don't believe, like individually also they are giving up the values like non-violence, truthfulness. Today a gentleman is considered a fool. That's the reality.
A very emphatic statement coming in from a friend there, that today a gentleman is considered a fool. No. Is that true?
No.
Okay, we have a different viewpoint.
No, gentleman can't be a fool. Gentleman is a gentleman always.
Okay, but then what about not following the principles? What about paying only lip service?
No, how could we judge from outside that he is actually what is not following or is following? It's very tough to judge a person from outside, and it's very easy to say about something that okay, he's not doing this thing, he's doing this thing, but it's not true. You have to go through it, and then only you can experience that what he is going through or what she is going through, and what reflects in her or his terms of life, way of life.
Okay,
that's the thing.
okay,
it's
okay,
a more
great.
Deeper thing.
Oh, it's a more deeper thing.
So the most important thing that in today's scenario, the most of the people, they are paying the lip service, whatever the principles our Mahatma Gandhi has given. The most important thing that he was very much stick with his principles, but now today's the politicians or whoever, they are not stick with their principles. They are always vacillating from their one standpoint of view, and there is no integrity, honesty among the people.
Okay, let's be more honest out here. I'll come to you. Let's be more honest out here. Let's not only implicate our beloved politicians only, as Mahatma Gandhi used to say. Let's look within. We all look within as well. Let's try and find out as to whether we do it.
Yes, I agree with my friend that we are only providing the lip service, because the challenges we are facing today now is, if really we follow the Gandhian thought, then why we are striking, why we are facing such a challenges? So in some stage, one stage, yes, we are in a following the lip service. I agree.
Okay, at some stage we are paying lip service, yes.
In my opinion, it's a sweeping statement, and it's a generalized statement which you are considering that it's a lip service. In reality, in coming days, it's obvious and it's almost obligatory for the entire world to follow Gandhi. His preachings, his thought and ideas, his thought and his pragmatism also. It's as relevant in the past, and it became more relevant and more consequential day by day.
It is as relevant today, and it will be more relevant tomorrow as well.
But I think it's relevant today, but everybody is trying to show off. Nobody's following the reality and the principles of Gandhi in today. And everybody is trying to show up, and everybody is trying that, yeah, I follow Gandhi, and his principle was very good in today's concept. So
okay, not many have imbibed this principle. Any other views, any other viewpoints on this? Almost a divided house, I must say, if not completely, then we can say by around 55-45 on the fact whether or not we are paying lip service, whether or not these ideals have been imbibed by us in our daily life, whether or not we are putting them into practice. Let me take a small example out here about Gandhi's views on our education system. Way back in 1937, there were certain ideas propagated by Mahatma Gandhi at a conference in Wardha about how our education system should be. And two most important points out of that were that one, the focus should be more on vocational education, and two, private entities should have a larger say in higher education. Now that's really important, because if we look at the state of education and its results in our own country, since independence we have neither achieved 100% literacy, nor have been able to go ahead and give employment to each and every person in the country. So have we overlooked over the period of all these years the ideas which were propagated by none other than the father of our nation? Yes.
Gandhian education model was actually very holistic in nature, that incorporates value education, skill education and education in general. Well, if I look into contemporary education system, the value education is actually overlooked, and this is very indicative in the deviant behavior of today's youth, because they are involved in most of the crime and deviant behavior. That is where we can say that somewhere we have missed this to incorporate in them since very beginning of their education.
A very significant point and very significant link up. Value education is missing in the entire structure.
I am agree with my friend, because the Gandhian philosophy was more on the character building, character formation of the youth. Now today what the education is providing us, that is the most on the materialistic aspect of the education. So we are lagging in the moral character building. That's why there is a problem of the ethics and morality in the today's youth.
Okay, great. Yeah, yes, please.
I think in curriculum it must be included this value education for Gandhian principles.
Value education, specifically in today's times, specifically in today's world, what is required is the character building of children or the citizens from that young tender age when they begin their education. Another important point as far as education is concerned is also the very fact that this particular process of imparting education to our young should revolve around ensuring that the education results in fruitful employment and their contribution to nation's growth. That was one of the ideas which Mahatma Gandhi propagated in late 30s, 1930s and early 40s as well. But do you guys believe that that's also one of the important ingredients which our education system have somehow or the other missed along the path since independence? Okay, okay, great.
Our government has missed the very tenet of Gandhian education idea, that they didn't implement or introduce the vocational training in the very syllabus of training the youth, and we are facing the repercussion. We have almost half of the education they are unemployed, and at the same time the competitor or the other country like China, it has a better employability, and they have the upper hand in the world market, global market, because they have trained their youth with vocational training.
Okay, great. A very important and significant point. I'll definitely come to you and others as well. I'm sure there will be different views coming in on this particular point, and this is going to be really important, specifically given the fact that all of you out here are the youth of this nation, and as most of us say nowadays, the future of this nation as well, because demographically speaking, we are the youngest nation. We are considered one of the youngest nations on the face of the world. I'll come back to you. We'll take a short break out here, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation on whether or not we are following Mahatma Gandhi's principles as far as education is concerned, and several other issues such as decentralization of power and how should we deal with our economy.
There is a systematic failure, and that systematic failure is lack of realization of Gandhian model of decentralization.
Gandhian views is always within our youth, always within there. But we did not implement it in such a way that we can utilize it.
Welcome back. We are in the middle of this interesting conversation with our friends out here from the School of Social Sciences at Indira Gandhi National Open University. Before we went into the break, we were talking about how we have missed taking note of Mahatma Gandhi's thoughts, his beliefs and his principles on the way we should structure our education system, and I'm very I remember very much that my friend out here wanted to say something on that.
No, I totally agree with my friend that half of our population is more than half of our population are youth, and most of them are unemployed today. And since we are not skill trained in the very education system of our education system, this gap filling is actually being taken care at the policy level by introducing some of the government programs in capacity building and vocational education. But this is not the proper way of doing it. If we could have, if we focus on the very beginning, that is from the very educational very educational system of ours on skill-based training, then this demand will never come up.
Okay, so what we are doing in effect is, and what she means to say is that we first miss the bus, and then we try and hitch on to a motorcycle or a car to try and catch the bus. Is that what we are trying to do out here? Interestingly and ironically, other nations in this world, and let's not go far further away, our neighbors such as China, they have more so imbibed Gandhian principles or Gandhian thoughts as far as education system is concerned, and it seems they've been pretty successful as well. Let me come back to second point now out here, and that relates to Mahatma Gandhi's views on decentralization of power, giving more importance to the people who reside in villages, giving them more voice, giving them the authority to decide as to what they want and how they want it to be implemented, something which resulted in the 73rd and 74th amendment in our constitution, but that only happened in early 90s, almost 60 years after we got the independence.
China is not giving importance to this decentralization.
Okay, yeah.
We are giving China is giving importance to Gandhian views, but China is not giving importance to decentralization. I mean, but you know, Gandhians, it's just not missing the bus. It's just Gandhian views is always within our youth, always within there. But we did not implement it in such a way that we can utilize it to build our nations. It is our fault, but we are ignoring them. It is in our own risk. It's just not missing the bus, but we can catch the bus if we implement it to build our nation.
Okay, we can catch the bus even if we want to. I'll come to you definitely. I guess there are other views as well. Yes, anyone else? Yes.
Decentralization and devolution of power in one of the most successful attempt of the policy of the government after the independence, I think, and in most of the implementation of the program at the village level, at the grassroots, government is very successful. Like Mandega program, like the imparted education, like welfareism for the deprivileged or the people who are underprivileged, and so many
Yes,
ways.
you're right.
So many ways.
There are several programs, but my point again is that we only realize the power of decentralization almost 55 years after independence.
As what I want to say that one of the most important ideas among the Gandhian philosophy was the decentralization. When there was a Constituent Assembly debate, there were vehement opposed of this decentralization, and it was put in the directive principles. But after that, there was long debate, and after 1951, it was still going failure, success of Panchayati Raj institutions in the Indian system. But its 73rd amendment, it was proposed by, and it makes constitutional amendment. What I want to say, earlier there was the rural power structure was most in the hands of the upper caste or the powerful dominant caste. But after this 73rd Amendment Act, there was the trickle down, or what to say, decentralization, and there now the decision making gradually going into the hands of the earlier marginalized sections. Now they are having greater say in the at the rural power
Okay,
structure.
so we are now finally falling in place.
No,
Yes, please.
I'll here would like to bring a data that in 2003-4 we have around 7,500 crores of outlay for social sector. Now this has increased up to 200 lakhs, but we are not able to achieve the target that we are expected to achieve, and we are still at the same level in as far as HDI or Human Development Index is concerned. My point is that there is a systematic failure, and that systematic failure is lack of realization of Gandhian model of decentralization. But here I would like to bring into notice that the recent focus of policy maker towards incorporation of the activity map and the directive of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to all the ministries to take up the activity mapping exercise is indicative of the fact that Gandhi is still relevant as far as decentralization is concerned.
Okay, Gandhi is still relevant as far as decentralization is concerned. We will continue this conversation, but we will take a short break, and when we come back, we will have another very important point to go ahead and discuss with these young students out here, and that would be what was Mahatma Gandhi's idea of an economically resurgent India, or rather an inclusive economic growth.
Participatory development will only come when our programs will be demand driven, not supply driven.
If we will follow all these paths, that can be said that it's a utopian, but the welfare and real developed society or real India can be achieved.
Welcome back. The discussion, or rather the debate, is getting interesting with each passing moment out here in the School of Social Sciences in Indira Gandhi National Open University. Let me now come to one of the another very important principles of Mahatma Gandhi, and that was about how to have inclusive economic growth. His agenda, or rather his beliefs or principles of how to run or develop the economy of our nation. He was not opposed to machinery as such, but then I believe he was opposed to mindless mechanization, consumerism. His idea was to give more power to village industries, but it's a globalized economy nowadays. Will village industries survive? Will this concept be successful? It's the days of MNC culture, multinational companies. Yes.
Actually, he was talking about the sustainable development, not only economic development. Now, all the world is knowing how sustainable development is wanted. If you are sitting in a MNC and you are working all the night, you can't be healthy. but you have to work, you have to sustain. But if you do if you follow the rules of sustainable development, all the world can groom, because he said ki if you eat whatever you want, ki how much hunger you have, if you have that, no, there is enough resources we have.
That's what exactly he said. In this world, there is enough to fulfill everyone's need, but nobody's greed. Yes, please.
I'm Ritushmita. Carrying on with the sustainable development of people, I can see a lot of NGOs, you know, the mushroom growth of NGOs. I think that is one example which people have taken from Gandhi's concept of, you know, self-help group, that concept. I think it's very much existent, and it's going to grow like anything in the coming future. Thank you.
Okay, great. Sustainable development is an idea which we are, which is still alive rather.
As far as inclusive growth is concerned, Gandhi always talked about participatory development, which is closely associated with inclusive growth. And participatory development will only come when our programs will be demand driven, not supply driven. Presently, they are demand driven. So I think as far as our government programs are concerned, to make it more, they are actually for the development of nation. And when the development of nation is concerned, people's participation come up first.
Okay, people's participation is something which is required and is something which is really, really important. But my question still remains, will his idea or will his belief that the focus should be more on village industries, rural economy should be strengthened more, is it still possible in today's globalized economy? Yes, I need to know how.
Yeah, possible, because if you go to any mall, shopping mall, Fab India, Pantaloons, and other things, means Shopper Stops and other things, they are taking these potteries, they are taking some bamboo handicrafts, they are making on it also. They are making the market. So that's why I think village industry can survive.
Okay, it can survive. Yes, I have still one more view.
Yeah, it can be survived, because 1 rupee potato we are buying this uncle chips at the rate of 12 rupees and 15 rupees because of this MNC. And if we can promote our KYCs and others, then the beneficiaries would be.
We need to promote and provide. I'll come back to you definitely. But what I gather is that yes, there is a glimmer of hope still left. Yeah, is that what it is? Yes, you are. Before we conclude this interesting debate, let me ask you one last thing, and that is the most important principles of Mahatma Gandhi, of truth, non-violence and satyagraha. In today's world, wherein there are frictions between the countries, within the countries, and in the initial stage, one of my friends pointed out the several conflicts going on within the limits of our own nation as well. Do you believe that yes, these principles are really, really important today? It's really difficult. It is really, really difficult to move on the path of satyagraha as Mahatma Gandhi did, or as others who believed in him, such as Nelson Mandela in South Africa, he did. Aung San Suu Kyi in Myanmar, she did. Dalai Lama, another example who believes in Gandhian philosophy. But do you still believe that these principles are really, really relevant and important? Yes.
Is not these frictions and all these things are proving that yes, these principles are really, really relevant?
Oh, the situation itself proves that yes, they are important. Yes, she is right. But then, are these principles being adhered to? I'll revert back to the initial question which I had. Is it a lip service?
What I think that Mahatma Gandhi has taken all these principles from across all the religious scriptures, truth, violence, all these things. And I think all these things, principles are the universal truth. Can be a difficult, but if we will follow all these paths, that can be said that it's a utopian, but the welfare and real developed society or real India can be achieved after following these principles, or whole global world.
Okay, these ideas might be termed as utopian, but then definitely these ideas will definitely help in building a stronger nation, a stronger world wherein we live in, and provide us with more opportunities for inclusive growth, ensuring that everyone who deserves what they deserve, they get it. We are running short of time. We would have definitely loved to go ahead and have more viewpoints from the students of School of Social Sciences of IGNOU out here. But then let's conclude it out here only. We'll come back next week with a different topic from a different place with a different set of students. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.